Let's see. All right. We are live. Fantastic. We are fantastic live. And so we're on my YouTube.
You're streaming this on YouTube, Sam?
Yep. I got it on YouTube. I got it on actually on LinkedIn too. So.
Okay.
Did you think I was just going to have some random guy talk on Real Talk? I have a pro.
Bro, the first person I think that has done that, so that's super dope.
I'm a tech fiend. I actually, a lot of people don't know, I have an IT degree. And that helps.
I think one of my first open houses, I was brand new, and Sam came in, and I don't know if you remember this, Sam. You filmed. It was a house in Hasley Estates, and there was a cat in the house. And you filmed the cat showing you around the house. He actually gave Sam a tour of the house, and it blew up. Because he said cat gives tour of the home or something.
Yep. And it was a grumpy cat. It was a grumpy cat.
One of those.
Yeah. And he showed my property for me.
Absolutely. I remember that.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Good
that
times.
Was a good one.
All right. So
Claudia, are you back now?
Hi, guys.
Claudia?
Are you back in the States or are you still Mexico?
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I missed you guys.
Welcome back, Claudia.
It seemed like you had a good time, though.
Oh. You know, the life in Mexico, it's different than the life here.
Absolutely.
There's just party, but my legs and my arms look like if I had the monkey pox.
Oh.
You got bit up?
Oh, dude. Super beat up. Hopefully
Welcome back.
Little dots go away soon.
Those mosquitoes are vicious down there, huh?
Oh, I hate them.
Vicious. Oh, you're going to miss the handmade flour tortillas so much. I hope you brought some back.
Hey, there's some guys out here that do it.
So we have more people rolling in. As I want to go ahead and respect everybody's time. We first off, thank you guys for joining us on this month's Real Talk. Realtor special guest, Sam Silver, the one and only, going to be talking to us about the benefits and all the ins and outs of actual VA loans. As we're seeing, the market is taking a shift, and we're seeing a lot more VA loans. I know I am for sure. On the last listing, I reviewed 3 of those bad boys. So We're seeing those a lot. So that's going to be the topic for today. And if anybody has any questions for Mr. Sam, go ahead and feel free to jump in. But I'll toss it over to start to welcome Mr. Sam into the meeting.
I have the privilege of knowing Sam since I basically started. If anyone lives in Santa Clarita, you've seen his car driving around. And Sam is a veteran. He served our country proudly, and now he's serving veterans in Santa Clarita and anywhere that they need him. And he educated me pretty quickly on why VA loans are so great when I first started. And I can't believe the misconception that goes around on VA loans and how underserved the community is, and pretty much puts them at the bottom of the pile in my experience. And there's a myth that they're difficult, that nobody wants to work with them because they demand so much more than any other loans. And if you only knew, the requirements are so much lower. Yeah, they might want you to scrape a little bit of paint off of the house or fix a window, but really we should be doing that anyway because it's going to come out in home inspection probably. So Sam is going to break those myths for us and show us why we should give first dibs to our veterans and why these loans really are easy to work with and they're guaranteed. So we should be telling our sellers this is the loan to go with. So take it away, Sam.
All right. Thank you, Star. Let's see. Can you hear me there?
I can.
Okay. Let me look at my I got too many windows going on. But VA loans. First of all, thank you so much for you incredible veterans out there. I appreciate you. I love you. I give 20% of my gross back to you just because of what you do. Oh, I love the llama. Just because of what you do and your passion in taking care of people on the front lines, as well as I also focus on first responders. Any first responders are part of my program as well. So VA loans are misunderstood. People think they're complicated. They're not. There's some things that you have to have. You have to have a certificate of eligibility, and your favorite lender can get you that. So there's not an issue. Or if you want, you can go to the VA and say, listen, I'm going to buy a house. I need my letter of certificate for eligibility to buy a house. And they'll get it for you. So it's simple. You have to be honorably discharged. You have to be, you have to get a DD-214, which is a discharge, honorably discharge. There is a DD-258, I believe it is. And unfortunately, that discharge does not qualify for a VA loan. There's some other things that don't qualify for a VA loan, but in general, if you are honorably discharged and you served actively, then you will qualify. There's some people that were reserves as long as they did some active services. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but reach out to me. I'll get you those numbers on what's required when it comes to how much active duty. So easy to deal with. They're guaranteed. There is no limit on the price of a house a VA can buy now, as long as you have qualified. So if a VA buyer is able to qualify for a $15 million house, the VA will cover that $15 million house. So a lot of people don't understand that. There is no limit on the price of a house currently. So give me 1 second. I'm trying to, like I said.
That's with no money down still?
Nobody down. And if you're a service-connected disabled veteran, you don't have to pay a funding fee. And the lenders on this call understand that funding fee could be like 3% of the purchase price of a house. So if you're service-connected and you have 10% or above, you don't have to pay the funding fee, which saves you a lot of money.
And just so you know, that's what my clients were. And they still had a job too, but they were disabled and they didn't have to pay that fee.
Exactly. And you can also, the cool thing about it is if you're 100% disabled, there are some codes in our state law about getting a portion of your taxes exempt. So it depends on how high your disability is, but there are some things in our tax law that veterans that have 100% disabled have a portion of their taxes exempt. So that's something important to know about being a veteran. Give me a second here. Okay, now I can see all of you. So if you take a look over my shoulder, I'm actually helping fundraise for a project. It's called Project Die Hard. And they are passionate about building a community for veterans suffering from PTSD and to educate the public that we lose, and it's ridiculous. We lose 22 veterans a day from suicide, and it's despicable. It's despicable. If you have a veteran out there, just reach out to them and love on them, and always do. It's called a buddy check. If you think you have a veteran in your life that is suffering, or a lot of times you don't know if they're suffering or not, just do a buddy check every once in a while and just call them and say, hey, I'm just calling to see how you're doing. Because if we don't do that, then we lose our veterans, and they're the most giving, loving, caring contributors in our society today. So I just wanted to let you know kind of what's over my shoulder and why I have him, why I have that soldier behind me. And down at the bottom, I was honored to be on Veterans Voices with Pat Harvey, and talking about how I give back to heroes and how I'm part of it's called a veteran collaborative in Santa Clarita. And we make sure that veterans in our community get what they need, whatever it may be. So.
Oh shit! Fuck. Sorry.
No problem. Hey.
Talk about real talk, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It is real talk. So, any specific question you guys have on? Looks like we have some loan people in here too. So if there's any questions on loans, I can focus it from the real estate side, and the lenders can focus it from the loan side.
Hey, Sam, let me ask you something. Let me
Sure.
This. In the market that we're heading into, I know it's obviously different.
Yes.
Well, how do you present your offers for the realtors that are on here? How do you present your offer? How do you make your VA offer look great, even if there isn't an EMD that they're submitting? How do you present it to the other side?
Well, there's a misunderstanding with EMDs, and zero down does not mean you don't have to put money down. It does not mean that, because if you're going to take a house off the market, if you have a listing, you're going to take the house on the market, of course you're going to request an earnest money deposit. And veterans that I deal with, they say, well, it's zero down. Absolutely, it's zero down. However, you do have to show that you're willing to put, we call it blood in the game. You need to put some sweat equity into it. You need to make sure that they know you're serious about buying that house. So you're not losing that money, the earnest money deposit, at all. It's going into your loan. It's going into the house. So you're not losing it. So, and a lot of people don't know, it's practically impossible for a veteran to lose their deposit. It's practically impossible because there are protections for veterans. And that's good and bad. It's good for the veteran, and as long as the veteran is complying with what is required, it's good for the veteran. For the person that is taking it, it can be, it's a double-edged sword. You're giving a veteran an opportunity to buy the house, and you're protecting the veteran's right to buy the house. And you do have protections. You have other protections as well in the process. But there is a protection. You have to look at the veteran, look at the addendum, and it's protecting the veteran. They can't lose that deposit, or it's almost impossible unless it's an act of willful defiance, we'll call it.
But going back to the initial question, if you can double back to that, how do you present that to the realtor? What do you exactly tell the realtor when you're sending in that offer?
Well, you have to comply with your protected classes, so you have to be real careful about how you approach it. I do. We can't do those letters. We can't do those love letters anymore. We used to be able to do that. So basically,
I'll call over now then. Okay. Sounds good.
Edvin, we hear you. I talk to the realtor. I verbally talk to the realtor. I say, listen, we have a first-time home buyer. And I also mentioned that, of course, they're a veteran like myself. And they're looking to, they love your house. And they're looking to move into Santa Clarita to be in the best schools and protect it. I just talk to them. You can't put anything on paper, but I just talk to them. I communicate. Like any other deal, you got to communicate who your client is and protect the classes as well. But I just communicate with them. I just talk to them. On paper, you have to do like everybody else. You have to make sure that I make sure my packages are put together and they're solid packages. I make sure that there's money. I make sure they have good faith deposit. I make sure that they have great proof of funds. I make sure that it's not somebody that if they have closing costs, they're not going to be able to buy the house. Which I've seen recently. There's been a lot of people coming in and it's like, you look at the proof of funds and it's like, no, you can't buy this house. You don't have anything to back you when it comes to proof of funds. You need more. You need more sweat in the game. You need more blood in the game. So I make sure the package is strong like any other buyer. I make sure, of course, I put my, when you have a listing, when you have a buyer, I make sure that package is put together well. I make sure that addendum is in there. I can't tell you how many agents I've had to educate on either FHA addendum or VA addendum, but I can't tell you how many I've had to educate in that process. So
Can you do that now, Sam? Can you tell us what addendums you're talking about for those who've never done a VA loan?
There's a FHA VA addendum that is required to put in there. And basically what it says is if the value of the home does not comp out, it doesn't appraise, then of course the buyer is not required to buy the house. However, they can come up with the money if they want to, but they can't feel forced to do so. So that's what that addendum is. It's there to protect the veteran's loan and make sure that they're not buying above value. So that's what the VA addendum is, similar to FHA addendum.
Just very quickly, sorry. It's not an addendum, it's an amendment. To the purchase contract.
My apologies.
That's all right. Just
thank you. I appreciate that.
And Sam, can you also talk to us a little bit about the few extra steps that the VA requires the home condition to be in? Some of the repairs that may have to be made.
Absolutely.
VA versus the conventional.
Well, the VA appraiser is going to make sure that house is livable. It's going to make sure that all the stove is working. They're going to take the house apart more. They're more strict. And actually we actually need some more VA appraisers. So if there's any appraisers out there that want to be veteran certified, we do need them because we have a lot of them retiring right now. They're strict. They're strict. They want to make sure that it is livable and that the veteran is protected and they're not buying a house that is falling apart or has any electrical issues or any of those things. It has to be compliant.
We have a question really quick from Felicia.
Hi, Felicia.
Hi, Sam. How you doing?
I'm good. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Hey, so one about which I've handled several deals was you can't have the peeling paint. Isn't that true?
Absolutely. There
on
is
the outside. They
the
won't
fascia.
qualify just for peeling paint. So if you have a veteran that you're helping, you need to, as a realtor, you need to do your due diligence and make sure that that paint is appealing, and let your listing, seller, blah, it's been a long day.
Believe me, I understand.
Let your seller know they need to take care of it. Otherwise, it's not going to pass. It's going to be a no-go.
The peeling paint.
To consider a VA loan, that is.
The peeling paint is important because if you have peeling paint, you're going to have termites. So that's to protect the investment. So yeah, I had a client, actually. I was the listing agent, and the buyer was a veteran. So they called it out. They said they went out and they did the inspection, and they called out the peeling paint. And my client had to get
the other thing too that I heard has changed is until recently, vets weren't allowed to pay for the termite, and now that has changed. Isn't that true? And now they can pay for the termite inspection?
Yeah, there's some allowable expenses for veterans to pay, or it can go, if it's a listing, the buyer could pay, or they could negotiate and each can pay a part of it. So there's certain allowable expenses in the VA.
Right. And I mean, also you mentioned the earnest money deposit.
Yes.
I mean, they actually don't have to put it to the loan. They could take that money back at the end. They don't have to do that.
No, they don't. They don't have to.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You're right.
I just want to make sure that was clear to everybody, because, again, I've handled several VA deals, and they just didn't want to put that money to the loan. They wanted that money, boy.
Yeah, and I give them.
That's a good point to know.
And with my buyers, I credit with the Hometown Hero program. I credit 20% back to them, so it could be used for closing costs, or it could, whatever they want, whatever they prefer. But it's actually easier to get it for closing cost.
Right.
That way, there's less documentation on it.
It makes it a little easier and cleaner because they have to pay that anyway.
Absolutely.
So,
and if it comes back in their pocket, then they're going to be taxed on it. So I don't want that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here. It's great, to hear what, you have to share, and it's a great cause, and thank you for your service.
Absolutely. I appreciate all of you. And, if there's anything that I didn't clarify, let's talk, offline. And what I'll do is I'll pull out my book. I have a book that goes through all the documentation and really breaks it down into what are requirements for the veteran. Also, I believe I have on LinkedIn, I think I put the VA document on what are the requirements for VA. I think I put it on my LinkedIn. So message me, let me know, and I'll get you that document.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Are you finding that now the market has changed, has shifted, that now sellers are more willing to consider VA loans now?
Absolutely, they are. Because the market has adjusted. We're watching the values kind of correct themselves. They say shift happens, and we're watching it, firsthand.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hey, Sam, on the other side of
Hey, John.
What was that? Oh, no, I was just gonna ask, on the real estate side, when you're prospecting, when you're talking to a veteran, what's different from talking to a regular person? I'm sure that we all have our niches, right? And obviously yours is VA and veterans, and thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
On that end. But it's what's different when you talk to a veteran? For us that are not veterans, what's different on that end when it comes to trying to create that relationship? Because as realtors, that's what we do, right?
Absolutely.
We create that relationship. So apart from all the lending stuff, which is great to know, on the real estate side of it, how do you engage? What's different in the conversation?
I want to find out about them first. I mean, we're talking about form. We always talk about form. With a veteran, I want to find out if they're comfortable with tell me where they served, how long they've been in, what they did, what their MOS is, or their training. Because you just have to be more sensitive to, and it's kind of funny because I have a daughter that has autism, and I think a lot of the way I approach people is because I'm sensitive about special needs community. So, and she's streaming in the background. Sorry about that. But I want to find out more information about their service if they're willing to share. If they're not, and it's a turnoff, then you just back up and don't dig in, because there's a lot of our veterans that are suffering. There's a lot of veterans that have PTSD. There's a lot of our veterans that, if you start talking about it, it brings them back to where they came from. So with respect to them, I'm cautious on how I do it. But as a veteran myself, it allows me to ask questions that maybe somebody that wasn't in the service can't. But I respect what they've gone through, and they all have stories. They all have stories to tell. Let them tell their stories if they're willing to, because if you listen to them and empathize with them, you'll have a client for life. I have a veteran that I helped. And I'll give you a short story about him. He was in Desert Storm, and he wasn't supposed to make it out there. He wasn't supposed to make it out of the desert. He was his troop was locked down in the desert, and if it wasn't for the desert storm, where you can't see in front of your face, he would have been dead. So while he was there, it like completely covered him. And they actually, the local newspaper actually did his story, and he's a hero. He's a hero, and he's given me at least 3 referrals since I helped him get his first home. So if you treat those veterans with respect and listen to them, you have a client for life. You really do have a client for life, because they respect, that you've taken care of them, and that you honor their services and their sacrifices and their fellow veteran service and sacrifices, because you don't know what they've been through, their story.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. And thank you very much, Sam. And to everybody, great seeing you. I have to jump off to another one, but thank you so much.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. I appreciate you, buddy.
Anybody in the group that's here right now have any questions for Mr. Sam? I mean, this would be a great time if you were trying to think of an outsource stuff. Jump questions off somebody that does it all the time. Anybody have any questions?
You know what? I have a book here, and it's like my Bible for veteran, for VA. Let me grab that real quick. I'll be right back.
In the meantime, while he does that, any of you guys that's here, has anybody worked with VAs? Obviously, I'm sure.
I have.
Lenders.
I have.
That's good. That's good. Have you guys encountered anything that's been a difficulty for you guys in those transactions?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What was the problem? It was the pain?
Sorry?
You said the pain. What else?
Oh, well, that wasn't it. The difficulty with mine was it didn't appraise at value. So my veteran said, well, I'm not going to buy it. So, you always hate to give up your commission. Well, me and the seller agent and the lender all threw in money. So to put toward the difference so he could buy it, that's what we did.
Absolutely. We do what we have to do to take care of our clients. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
done that more than once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was, it was a team effort. So you don't like doing it, but I did it, and you move on, and it's okay. You did a great thing. I still made money. It was a win-win for everybody. So that's how I look at it. It's fine to give back.
Yeah, if you're going to do it for anyone, at least it was for a VA loan.
Right. Because his attitude was he wasn't going to pay the difference. And, we were just going to continue looking. And it was a beautiful home, and they really loved it. And it was like we were so far into the deal. It's at the end of the day, your time, and also the veteran, too. You just do what's best for everybody and what's in your heart, and feel good about it too. It's not like I'm bitching. It's just it was difficult. That's all I could say. It was difficult because of that, because it didn't appraise. So,
did you know? I'm going to give you some things that people don't know. Did you know your veteran can buy a 1 to 4 unit complex, live in one, and rent out the others for investment properties? But since you just have to let them know that, of course, you have to live in one in order to do that. But you have veterans out there that their first home purchase could be a 1 to 4 unit. And if you have a second veteran, I believe it's up to, I've heard different things. I've heard up to 8 units if you have 2 veterans that are buying a complex themselves. I've heard
any
something.
Any lenders want to touch on that? Have you guys heard different?
What is the requirement for 2 veterans who want to buy a investment property? I heard it was up to 8 units.
I mean, veteran loans is only applicable to what's considered residential dwellings, which is 1 to 4 units.
Right.
So if it's 4 plus, you can't even get a VA loan on it.
But you can have 2 veterans in a transaction.
You can have as many veterans as you want in a transaction, but what I'm saying is if it's more than 4 units, it's no longer considered a property that the Veterans Administration would finance. So if it has a 5th or 6th or any number of units in there, it automatically becomes a commercial property. So I don't know if there's a lender out there that would consider a commercial property under VA administration loan programs.
I heard about that recently, so I'm wondering if it's something that just changed. Hold on, let me see if I can
It
find
wouldn't be an
here.
ADU that you're thinking of, would it?
No, it was a multi-unit. Actually, one of my partners on Clubhouse had that also does VA, is a VA specialist, did it for a client. So maybe they had to do a different type of loan for it, possibly. I'm looking to see if there's anything in my book about it, but it was something recent. But I'll dig deeper into that one. I'll share when I find out more about that. But if somebody is a veteran and they want to buy a 1 to 4 unit, the cool thing is that they can have an investment property. They could start with an investment property. They don't have to buy just a single family resident. So that's kind of a different way of looking at it, a little creative way of looking at using the VA.
Sorry, I got my kid going crazy in the back too, right?
No problem. I got twins that are 17, and my daughter comes home and she lets off. Here, I got a few unbeatable benefits of the VA. Benefit 1, no down payment. Benefit 2, no private mortgage insurance, no PMI. Benefit 3, low interest rates. Benefit 4, no prepayment penalties. Benefit 5, less stringent qualification guidelines. Benefit 6, low closing cost. figured that would be a nice addition to what we're doing here.
Almost definitely. Those are some very key points, very key things that a lot of people forget, especially the new realtors that have never done a VA loan, don't understand that no PMI is a big thing, right? Even though we're not on the loan side of it, as a realtor, is always good to understand that helps. Understanding that your client on a VA side is not going to have a PMI 0 down. It just definitely helps. Now, maybe for the lenders out there, can you guys help demystify the CalVet loan in contrast to the VA loan? Anybody? Jump on that grenade, Bhutan?
Get it, Hutan.
Well, I mean, completely different products. We're talking about, when we talk about VA loans, these loans are insured by the Veterans Administration. It's securitized completely on a federal level. When you go with CalVet, now we're talking about specific benefits that state of California throws in there for the through the administrations. So it's just not really a subsidiary. Let's call it a sister company through VA administration for the state of California on how they do things. Is slightly different for our VA eligible applicants. I wouldn't necessarily say there's a lot of differences. I would say 99.999% of the VA loans that we do, we don't even open our CalVet handbook to see if there is anything that we would want to be able to take out. The VA administration itself, benefits are so broad and great that the couple of benefits that they offer, it's almost moot. I mean, really, just we're tricky. We're going to stick to the VA loans. Just very quickly, Sam, on that, I know you threw in the word investment property a couple of times on a VA loan.
Yes.
So from a lending standpoint, please refrain from using that word, because that will prevent us from giving you the loan to the applicant.
I got it. I hear you.
Yeah. You guys can get all creative you want on a real estate side and sell the dream to the consumer, but we have to be very careful because it's not an investment property. They're not buying it as an investment property. It's an owner occupied that they will live in, and they have the opportunity to, rent out the other vacant unit.
They have to live in the home. It's a residence.
It's an owner occupied loan.
owner-occupied.
VA does not. Although you could have a loan through VA on an investment property, but you cannot get an investment property loan through VA. So it's a complex situation. It's a very, very slippery slope that we have to be careful. I've actually had to turn down clients because they came to us and they used those as statements, and we kept trying to correct that, and they kept saying, my realtor said it's an investment. And I'm like, all right, gotta go. I cannot fund this loan. And the unfortunate part was when we report these, because we do have to report them, it prevents that VA in the eligible borrower to get a loan from any other lender. It isn't the GUI. Everyone will see it. So it makes it very difficult to do that.
Can I ask you another question? This is another thing that people don't understand. How many times can you use your VA loan?
Good question.
There's no limit.
Some people think it's only one time.
No, there's no limit on how many times you can use your VA eligibility.
But one at a time.
But,
Kind of sort of.
Not, it's kind of sort of, not again.
Unless it's a farm property or something.
But you could run out of VA benefits if you mismanage your money. So we've had circumstances where people were not able to obtain another VA loan because of foreclosure and defaults that they've had. So it's it could be complicated, right? It's not as simple. We can't just sit here and say, you are veterans, you do not have the VA funding fee, because it has to do with their COE that we obtain. What happens is when you come to us to get a loan, we obtain a certificate of eligibility through the VA administration. That tells us what kind of VA benefits you're entitled to. Some will have no funding fee, some will have discounted, some will have the full funding fee. So there's a lot of little intricacies that goes into obtaining the actual VA loan itself.
Thank you.
Sure.
What about anybody else? Have you heard any myths or something that you've heard that you want to question?
How about this one? Can you refinance from a regular conventional or regular FHA into a VA?
That's a good one.
Absolutely. And I would, this is what I always tell people. If you're coming to me to refinance from a conventional or FHA into a VA, go shoot your previous lender. You should have never been in that position to begin with. That is the worst thing that we experience. I'm not kidding with you. I mean, you know, for all they have done, for me to see there are actually lenders and loan officers out there that put VA eligible applicants into conventional or FHA loans, it's just, I mean, you know, it's
disrespectful.
I mean, that's beyond, let's just say it's unethical.
Yes.
Right? Forget about respect. I mean, that's just not the word I would use at this point on these people. These are extremely unethical individuals that are doing this to our veterans. So they do deserve to lose their license, if you ask me. They do deserve to get punished for what they've done to the VA community. So yeah, the answer to your question is yes. And if you guys have anyone, please tell them to go ahead and refinance out of those conventional, or I mean, most definitely out of the FHA loan, without a doubt. They should never be in an FHA loan. If they're in a conventional loan and if they have MI or if they have higher interest rate, they definitely need to get out of those conventional mortgages as well and go with a VA loan.
I have a question for you, Hutan.
Sure.
Talk about refinancing. When you buy a house, you refinance. What is that loan called that you refinance a veteran into? Earl. Yes.
It's an acronym for a very long paragraph that I 20 years later, I still can't remember. Hold on. Let me look at my notes. It's something like interest rate reduction. Earl, how many R do we have in there? 3.
Yeah.
Interest rate reduction refinance loan. There we go.
And it's a great loan program. And for those lenders out there, keep in contact with your veterans. And if you see that interest rate go, you get a hold of them and let them know that it's a great time to refinance, because I know my lenders have reached out to me when they see the market's adjusted or the interest rates have gone down, and it doesn't cost me anything to do it as a disabled vet. Very minimal, if anything. So yeah, reach out and agents. I mean, you're taking care of your clients, whether you are helping them buy, sell, or get that refinance when the time is right, because they're going to realize that you're there for them no matter what. Even though you're not making any money on it, you're still taking care of them. So,
and Sam, even when we give them a really good lender to use, we're helping them.
Absolutely. You give them a good lender, quality vetted people like Hutan here. And we gotta meet and start talking about some VAs, Hutan.
Absolutely. Anytime. About your service.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for being on this month's chat of Real Talk. Just a real quick, we do have a live in-session networking meeting that is finally back on Fridays and Silmar at the El Carrizo Golf Course. If you guys are interested in networking, be sure to head over there. I think there's going to be a panel tomorrow, so not sure. I think it was a panel. Claudia, you're on that panel?
Yes, sir. It's going to be fun. Yes, I'm going to be on it.
Awesome. So if you guys want that information, hit me up. I can get it to you, but it's from 8 to 10 at the El Carrizo Golf Course. And again, thank you guys so much for coming. And a biggest picture to Mr. Sam Silver for being our speaker and educating us on that VA, man. So many golden nuggets. Do truly appreciate your time. And once again, I do believe I'll speak for everybody here when we say thank you and God bless you for your service, brother. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Sam.
You're very welcome. My pleasure. And if I
can you guys hear me?
Wait, we have a question.
Hey, this is John.
Hey, John.
John.
I apologize for my colorful contribution earlier.
That was funny. So funny.
I was
Speaking the French.
I was driving home from an inspection, and I had no idea I was not muted. So
now we know the real John. You seem so pulled together normally.
yeah, well, normally. I was going to change lanes, and suddenly I realized there was somebody right there next to me. So
John,
that's what that was about.
John, let me ask you a question. What do you find with inspections for VA? What are you finding that you call out for a veteran?
I've never been asked to do an inspection specifically for that, or at least if I have, it's never been brought to my attention.
Do you offer
So
a discount for veterans or first responders?
We don't typically do that, but I've been thinking about adding that. Adding a veterans discount. So I think we may start to do that.
Let me know if you do.
I will. My question is there a water quality requirement for a VA? I think there is for FHA, but I don't know about VA.
Water quality requirement.
Yeah, have you ever heard of that?
Water quality?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe not in the state of California, maybe in other states where they might be more radon in the soil or something like that. I'm not sure. I have no idea.
Probably Colorado.
Anytime that your power supply is not connected to the main city, you do have to do a water quality. So if you're on a private well or anything like that, you do have to do a water quality.
Yeah,
interesting. So you would say like something around like Agua Dulce
wow.
would fall under that.
Almost every loan that we do in those areas, we do require a water test.
Interesting.
Got it.
Wow, I learned something new.
So who does the test?
They're companies that do the testing. There are specific companies that have the equipment. They come out, they do take samples, take it to the lab, and the lab provides a report that it has the water level meets the standards that we do need.
Yeah, we actually do that testing.
But you guys do the testing. Well, I'm taking you have a lab that you contract with, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, I was gonna say because you wouldn't be able to do it. You're probably not licensed as a laboratory.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we collect samples and we send it into a lab. Although I will say this, I don't think we would drive out to Agua Dulce just for a water quality test. But you could add it onto an inspection, and we would be happy to go out there for that.
Smart man.
So, yeah. Anyway,
dude, that was a good one. I think we all learned something on that one. We had no idea about water quality tests. That was a great question, John. Thank you for that.
Thanks. Yeah, I'd heard that there was.
And thank you, Hutan, for having the answer. Or else we would all Googled it and probably never found it.
That's why it's great to be part of a team. We all find the answer together.
Teamwork makes the dream work. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here, Sam. Thank you once again, brother, so much. See you guys next month. Next month, we're going to have a special guest. We're going to have President Jeff Phillips join us for our last session of Real Talk with Realtors. So please make sure you're here.
He's my alumni, my friend. He's my alumni. He went to Royal with me.
No way.
Seriously.
Yeah, so you're going to be here next month too then.
That's my buddy.
Let me just tell you one thing. He went to Phil's office and I heard he knocked it out of the park. So I'm so excited he's going to be here.
Definitely. So make sure you guys tell your friends, and thank you guys again for being here. We'll be in touch. Take care, guys. Be safe.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care. Hey, Frank. What's going on, brother? Hey, my friend. Long time no see. You still there? Frank. Frank. You still there? Was it not working? What? Was this not working while I was doing this presentation? Oh, that stinks. Hey, Frank. Hey, Sean. How you guys doing? I guess my mic was not working while I was on the presentation. Oh, man. Well, good thing I wasn't recording it. Well, go to my TikTok. I did record it there. Go to Santa Clarita Life. Santa Clarita Life. I did record it on TikTok. So if you missed anything, go to my TikTok, as well as my social media. I think I'm rolling on. Yeah, I am. I'm rolling on my YouTube channel also. So talk to you soon. I'm going to end the broadcast. Take care. Oh, hold on. Let me do this first. Let me start my cam. There we go. All right. Want to know more about VA? If you're a veteran, military, nonprofit, government agency, visit samsilver.net, samsilver.net, like on my hat. Thank you so much for coming. We're looking at almost an hour. I appreciate your time. And we'll see you next time on my social media channels. And if you are a nonprofit and you need funding, visit takethefunding.com, takethefunding.com, just like that little scrolling thing down at the bottom. I am your veteran realtor, 18 plus years, and I help clients across the country to get their veteran benefits. And that's it. I'm going to go have dinner and be blessed. And we will talk to all of you soon on my next social media post. Peace.